6:01 p.m. We'll stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day. We're thankful for your blessings and your love. We just ask that you be with us tonight, that you would lead, guide, and direct. And I pray, Lord, that you would give us wisdom to do the things that you want us to do with our county and with our school system. And just ask your blessings upon all of our staff, our teachers, our students, and all the parents. And Lord, we just give you the praise and the honor and the glory. For us in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing we're going to do is amend the agenda. I want to move the Transportation Safety Award up to right prior to executive session, move that to the new number 5. And also under action items, we currently are seeing it down to L, approval of surplus. We're going to add a G, and that's going to be a Beta Regional Leadership Summit field trip for Pickens Junior High. Is that correct? And so we'll put that at the end of that right there. So do I hear a motion to amend the agenda?
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. White, second by Mr. Long. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0, motion carries. Next, I'll make the motion to approve the amended agenda. I hear a second.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Finley. Any discussion? All in favor? 5, none opposed, motion carries. Stacy.
We've got Ken Johnson here with us from the State Transportation Department. He works with Pat Schofill, the Director of Transportation. Ken comes from Cherokee as a retired Director of Transportation. And I think he's going to tell us how to solve our bus driver problem.
Perfect.
He's brought us a bus
We
driver,
need to
right?
No. Thank you, Stacy. Let me say on behalf of Mr. Pat Schofill, he was originally scheduled to be here. We're a small department, and he's in Macon. I was in Macon earlier and left there today. When I talked to him about 30 minutes ago, he's sitting in traffic on 75. So although I really don't feel sorry for him, because if I'd been there, he wouldn't have felt sorry for me. So, but we're glad to be here tonight. One of the things we've done this year is we have continually came up with our motto is protecting 100% of our students, 100% of our time. And one of the things we, at the direction of our state superintendent, Mr. Richard Wood, he said, we recognize a lot of folks across Georgia, but we really do not do anything for pupil transportation. So one of the things we've done this year is come up with what we call a Blue Ribbon Safety Award for transportation systems across the state of Georgia. We divided those into 8 categories by enrollment. Pickens County falls into Division 5, sort of in the middle of that, with students of between 3,700 and 5,000 FTE. And one of the things we really focused on was driver training. And we were very, let me back up just a minute and say I was in this RISA group for 10 years in Cherokee. I became not only friends but close colleagues with Sherry and her staff. Then when I retired, I knew she was doing an excellent job, but I had not been in this RISA until recently. And we were very excited when we saw her application. We did not, we had a third, sort of an independent group judge those. And of the 8 divisions, with, I guess, the Gwinnett County of 176,000, with Jenkins County of about 1,300 students, and all the other districts in between. We recognized, we presented these at our conference back in June, but we want to formalize that for the board today and say on behalf of the Georgia Department of Education, we're very excited, very pleased to announce that our Division 5 winner for our inaugural award was Sherry and her staff, and we just wanted to come and say we appreciate your support for what she does of protecting 100% of our students 100% of the time.
Next item will be executive session. I'll make a move that we go into executive session to discuss or deliberate upon the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, or disciplinary action or dismissal or periodic evaluation or rating of a public officer or employee, or to interview applicants for the position of superintendent, to consult and meet with legal counsel pertaining to pending or potential litigation, settlement, claims, administrative proceedings, or other judicial actions brought or to be brought by or against the school district or an officer or employee, or in which the officer or employee may be directly involved. I'll hear a second.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. White. Any discussion? All in favor? 5. None opposed. Motion carries.
Mr. Johnson, thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
I do appreciate it.
At 6:40 p.m., a motion was made by Ms. Finley, seconded by Mr. Long, to come out of executive session. No action was taken. If I hear a motion to approve the executive session minutes as read.
I make a motion to approve the executive session minutes as read.
Motion by Ms. Lewis. Second by Mr. Long. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Motion carries. Next item, approval of personnel. I'll make a motion to approve the personnel action report as presented.
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. White. Any discussion? All in favor? 5, none opposed, motion carries. Gets us down to some recognition. Dr. Flatt?
Yes, sir. Hey, good evening, everyone. We are going to talk about our redesignation as a Lighthouse school to watch, but because I have these two very helpful, much smarter people with me, I'm going to let them speak a lot about the Lighthouse redesignation, as they were a huge part of us going through this process, and Ms. Fowler back there as well, so we're going to recognize her as we go through this also, and I'll kind of jump in at the very tail end of this. That's a little tall for you, Rose. Pull that microphone down.
Will you be able to click through the slides?
Yes.
Or you shall I? Thank you very much.
Okay, with your approval and support, thank you very much, we were able, Jolene and I were able to go to Washington, D.C. to accept our third redesignation as a Lighthouse School to Watch school. And just as a recap, the National School Improvement Initiative focuses on high-achieving schools, and it was launched in 2000 in just 3 states. And now it is in 18 states, obviously Georgia being one of them. And so it has an increase of 70% since 2000 in its initiative. It seeks to identify high-performing middle schools across Georgia. That's the Georgia Lighthouse School to Watch. There's a Georgia Lighthouse School to Watch than the national. And we were one of the first 3 states to qualify to be part of the prestigious national forum. And there's 4 levels that the school to watch, Lighthouse School to Watch goes for, that looks for in a school. And I was explaining earlier, that's sort of like a gaps review. They come in, they look at your school, look at all your data, see how you're doing as getting the child as a whole child and not just your academics. And it works on academic excellence, developmental responsiveness, social equity, and organizational structures and processes. And they give us helpful hints on how we can improve and tell us what we're doing well. And every 3 years, we have to fill out an application to reapply to be redesignated. And we were just redesignated in 2018. And our first redesignation was 2009. We are one of 14 schools in the middle schools. It's a middle school reform. I guess I didn't say that. We are one of 14 schools in the state of Georgia that are a Lighthouse School to Watch, and one of only 4 that have been redesignated 3 times. And there's only one other school, and it's in Thomaston, Georgia, that has been redesignated 4 times. So it's actually pretty prestigious, and we're very proud of the fact that we are a school to watch. And I know that we've combined schools, and now we're PJHS, and this was obviously at PCMS, but they are letting us continue the process and recognizing us now as PJHS in the forum. So,
And this, just as Dr. Nelson said, this is a very prestigious thing and something that we want to push out into the community more. So we want to get this information put out to the paper so that we can really acknowledge this for the work that Ms. Fowler, Ms. Brownell, and Dr. Nelson have done this, and all the teachers that contributed to this process over the years of doing this. And we look forward in the next 3 years to trying to build upon that and become only the 2nd school with a 4th redesignation, excuse me, as we move forward. So thank you for your all support in helping send these ladies to accept this award, and thank you for all the support you've given us in working through this process.
Thank you. Thank you. Next is Superintendent Reports.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so glad I'm not the one doing that. We'll just review the tentative FY19 budget as it is for the moment. Hopefully by the end of the night it won't be tentative anymore. We have collected 1.59% of our budgeted expenditures for FY19, and just keep in mind most of our revenue we receive from QBE gets backed into FY18 because it's for mostly employees. Right now it is for all the non-12-month employees. All that money gets shifted back into FY18. We have expended 9.52% of our budgeted expenditures, and keep in mind that we have been under the spending resolution for the past few months, so that did limit us to no more than 1/12. So obviously we are well within our expenditure rights
there. Do y'all have any questions about the FY19 general fund? We'll move on to this lost account. For the month of August, we received SPLOST revenue of $440,132.49, earned interest of $3,433.74. Issued several checks there. You can see who they were for, who they were to, what they were for, and what location. We still have a few projects that started this summer that we are still paying on, or were at the end of August. That brings our balance at the end of August to $8,231,213.01. Do y'all have any questions on this report? And then, of course, the last report is just a summary where we are in the SPLOST collection and what our 12-month average is. I like seeing that number go up and up. It does allow us to do more SPLOST projects as are approved in the referendum. Questions? That's all I have right now.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Next, our attendance update. First, some certificates and our banner. And is Kurt here? Come on up so you can present this. And the reason we want you to present this is the fact that you paid for it. Is this the annual or? All right, go ahead. How many years have you sponsored?
8 to 10 years.
Since you were 12?
Yeah.
And it says, what does it say?
Bright futures begin with good school attendance.
All right, and this month, Jasper Middle School had our highest student attendance of 97.66%. So Jasper
Come on, Dr. Wiles.
I don't put my
Take
tie
my
on.
place there. There you go.
This is a longer one.
Yeah, we all walk this way a little bit. My camera looks great.
Yes, it does. Which means, principals, let's put it where it doesn't get tore up by the wind and everything. All right, while Dr. Wiles is here, our high staff attendance for August, 99.34% Jasper Middle. Thank you. And for our highest yearly attendance for 2017, 2018, Jasper Elementary School.
Here, let's take out the. I'm sorry. Can I give you yours?
Our dropout report is we've had one student so far to drop out. And that was something we can't do anything about on that one. All right. And we did our school attendance. Have you shown that one? Go ahead and show that one. All right, that's all the schools have. With 96 being the lowest and 97.66 the highest. Let's go to operations and instruction. I do want to give you on the construction issue, we've got a little bit about phase 1 and phase 2 of PJ. By next board meeting, though, we should have a artist rendition of what the school's going to look like, and we'll present that to you, and also do a recap on all the projects under SPLOST at that time. Of course, maintenance is normally going on right now, everyday maintenance. Transportation, they're starting bus evacuations and drills and should be finished by the 5th. They're doing skill assessments on all of our drivers and monitors. Our SRO report is that we've had 13 vapes collected, and out of the 13, we've had 5 of our high school students that needed medical attention, 1 being transported by emergency medical services. 2 students at Mountain Ed has also been transported. That really has gone up to 3 now, with 1 this week. We've had 1 high school student that's charged with theft of mislaid property and stole a cell phone, and that phone was recovered. National School Lunch Week, October 15th to the 19th. This year's theme is School Lunch, Lots to Love. And we are free and reduced numbers. The grace period ended today. But we won't know our official numbers until October the 30th. Any questions? All right. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my reports. Well, let me make one other statement. I'm sorry. Very excited the fact that our cameras in the classrooms, most of them are almost fully installed and operational. I know our training is, we've started our training and it'll be going on. I just want to make sure that all our staff remembers that although we will have the cameras running 100% of the time, they do have some flexibility on who can see those cameras. Anytime there's an emergency, they automatically go on. Anytime a teacher is in a professional development plan, that'll be in the plan at the times the administration will look at that camera, and then also when the teacher gives the ability for other people to look at that camera. And also we can, if we do the lessons correctly and watch it during snow days, those can be counted as present days. So we're very excited about what's going on with our cameras. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right, that gets us into action items. First item is the approval of the 2018 millage rate. That number is 15.33, correct?
15.33.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we would like to recommend a millage rate of 15.33 for this year.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2018 millage rate of 15.33. Second, Mr. Long. Is there any discussion?
I would like to just say that, as you can see there, we've reduced it the last several years, but this is also the lowest millage rate since 2008.
Yeah. Yes.
2009.
All in favor? 5, none opposed. Motion carries. Next item will be the final approval of the FY19 budget. I hear a motion to approve that budget.
I make a motion to approve the FY19 budget.
Motion by Ms. Lewis,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Finley. Is there any discussion on that? All in favor? 5, none opposed, motion carries. Next will be the approval of the beliefs, missions, and vision statement.
Mr. Chairman, this has been a collaborative effort with many of our stakeholders over the last several months reviewing, and this is our committee's recommendation on the vision, mission, and belief statement that we would like to present to the board for approval, please.
I'll hear a motion to approve the statement as presented.
Make a motion to approve the statements as presented.
Your second.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Lewis, motion by Ms. White, second by Ms. Lewis. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0, motion carries. Next will be the FY19 local board trading plan.
Oh, I have a feeling we're going to get lots of training.
Yes, they are.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve that training plan. I hear a second.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Long. Is there any discussion? All in favor? 5-0, motion carries. Next is minutes. I hear a motion to approve the minutes from the August 9th regular meeting, August 29th, and August 31st call meetings as presented.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Lewis, second by Mrs. White. Any discussion? All in favor? 5, none opposed. Motion carries. F is approval of surplus. I hear a motion to approve the surplus as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the surplus as presented.
Your second.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Long, second by Ms. Lewis. Any discussion? All in favor? 5, none opposed, motion carries. And last one, G, the Beta Regional Leadership Summit Field Trip.
Mr. Chairman, this is Pickens County Junior High's requesting approval of the Beta students to travel to LaGrange, Georgia to attend a Beta Regional Leadership Summit. It will be an overnight field trip departing on October the 29th and coming back on the 30th. And it's a great leadership training event for our Beta leadership. We'd like to request approval of that field trip.
I'll make the motion to approve the overnight field trip for Junior High Beta Regional Leadership Summit to LaGrange, Georgia.
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Lewis. Ms. Lewis? Any discussion? All in favor? 5, none opposed. Motion carries. Gets us to board comments. Any board comments?
I have just a few. First of all, I'd like to say thanks to those of you who were involved in the Lighthouse designation work that was done to get that designation. I know that I sat in on some of the parent meetings and everything, and I know that was a lot of work, and we appreciate that. It's something that it's nice to be able to brag about, that we've got that quality education going on in our school system, so thanks. A couple of weeks ago, we had a meeting here. I think you can view it online for presentation, which included some of our test scores. And I would like to ask that we can get some additional information about our AP programs and our AP test scores, if we can add that to that. One of the comments I had, we just got, which was that It's kind of weird to be here knowing that we've only got 3 more board meetings for some of us. We've got a long list of things that I was hoping to see within the next 3 months, and this architectural drawing is a good step towards that. I'm sincerely hoping we can get some architectural plans approved before those of us who started this project way back when can bring that to fruition. And the only other comment I've got has to do with the approval of the turf on the football field. We are getting a lot of public comments, I think, about the use of that field, and I want to be sure everybody understands that that was approved as an athletic field, not necessarily as a football field. And it is intended for use by the band and soccer teams as well as football. So hopefully we can get an even scheduling taken care of with that facility so that everybody can maximize the use of that. That's it for me.
I'd like to add to that also when we approved the turf, that we were going to let the community take part in that and not just restrict it to only our school. So I'm very happy that we allowed our community to have use of that field as well. I know in the past we have restricted some of our facilities from the community's use, and I felt sometimes that was unfair when we all are paying for the taxes that the community does have use of our facility. So I was happy to hear that we are allowed some of the community to use the field as well. And one other thing I wanted to make a comment of Jill Libertor and the team with putting the vision, mission, and all of that stuff that we did. We had lots of meetings that lots of us attended. And it was a lot of work and a lot of parents involved and teachers involved and community and stakeholders. I see a lot of the faces that were here. It was a lot of work, and so I really appreciate all of the community and the team that came together to help with our strategic plan and our vision and mission and statement. It was quite an undertaking, so thank you for everybody that, you know, the part that you played in that. And I don't, the only other thing I'm just really concerned about, and I don't know how many people watch the videos, but the vaping is a really serious problem, and I'm speaking to the choir that's sitting in here now, but I really hope that we can somehow get a handle on this, and I know that we're really working hard in our schools, the Sheriff's Department, and a lot of the other, Allison Sosby, the district attorney, we're working really hard, but it takes the help of the parents too, that this is information that really needs to be given out. That I saw on today, that USA Today, that it is now a nationwide epidemic. So it's just something that I think that's really pressing, that we need to make sure our students and our children understand the severity of their actions, how they could be. I witnessed a child personally myself, and it was very scary and very upsetting. So thank you to our high school and junior high and dealing with those situations also, and dealing with them in a way that making sure that our students' best interests and our safety were in mind. So.
I've got just a housekeeping thing. Agricultural has their annual meeting coming up first Saturday in October. They have a contested seat for one of the board elections, and usually, unless one of the board members or superintendent are going to that meeting in the past, since I'll be there, y'all sometimes will appoint me on that, and that's what I would ask, is if y'all don't mind to authorize Dr. Wilson to sign the secretary of the board this letter of authorization. That would authorize me to cast the vote for the Board of Education. That's what y'all.
Do we have to do a motion and vote? Can we do that at this time? Okay, and you just want us to authorize, Dr. Wilson will be the one that signs the letter of authorization. Okay, I'll make the motion that we allow Dr. Wilson to sign the letter of authorization to designate Phil Landrum as representative for the Amiclola Electric annual meeting. Do I hear a second? Second by Mr. Long. Is there any discussion on that? All in favor? 5, none opposed. Motion carries on that.
Thank you very much.
Then also too, as in comments here, as we move forward, especially like with looking at timing, transition between classes and stuff, a little concern that I see, and this is related sort of to high school, but and I don't, and maybe other board members have heard, seen this, the number of books, and I'm pro textbook, I love textbook, I like my kids to have textbook, but we weighed my daughter's book bags that she carries at high school. It's 24 pounds that she totes. She weighs 105 pounds. And can we look
I
at,
appreciate you telling me.
I was gonna say that
can we look at, do we have enough time to where kids can go to lockers, or is there certain children who are just so, they're not gonna go out of, if they see their door, they go straight to that class? Is 5 minutes long enough to give kids, or are they carrying their books at all times because of their choice, or is it because we do not have enough time to go from locker to class?
Can you address that?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Mr. Bell, I understand your concern, and we do offer every student a locker. And last year, out of 1,380 roughly students, 5 chose to have lockers. So I think it's more or less a trend now for high school students. They choose to do that. Last year we had 7 minutes between classes. We went to 5 this year due to the fact that we had the skinny classes for the 9th graders. And so to get our time into the day with the transitions, we got into the argument of if we gave 5 minutes only to the freshmen between their transition for the 45-minute classes, but we gave everybody else 7 minutes, in between the 4 classes, then it really seemed a little bit unequitable. So we decided to try the 5 minutes, and it depends. I mean, to answer your question, I think that there's some situations on our campus where classes are far apart, and if it's, let's say it's a locker situation and their locker's in a specific location, then yeah, it might be tough to get from, to and from. And so something we could definitely look at. Might be good for us to poll the students, talk to them individually and see. But I know we didn't have any more than that, maybe even less than that number this year of students that actually chose to take a locker, which I know seems odd because all of us who are older grew up having, that was part of it. But we do have the lockers, we do have them available. And I do know that they have 3 or 4 subjects. They carry those books around. They're 5-6 pounds a piece. It adds up. So we could definitely look into that some more. But they do have that opportunity. I haven't had a student or a parent reach out to me about time frame of getting to and from. But if they're doing that in lieu of taking time to the locker, then yeah, that's something we probably need to look at. I don't want them to have to choose to have back problems or, being able to get class on time. So we could definitely take a look at that.
And not just because of my kids, but is this something that somebody, you said nobody said anything about this in the past?
I haven't received any parent concerns or complaints or student complaints about this particular item, but, doesn't mean they're not out there. Doesn't mean there's not a concern present. So I think if we talk to the students and see, we could possibly work that time back in. You start talking about transitions now, you're talking about 8 total classes, so you're really 7 transitions. That's 14, 15 more minutes into the day just by increasing it by 2 minutes. So for the transitional classes, the 45-minute classes, those classes are usually in that one area of the school. We did design that and moved a lot of teachers around so that those students will be basically in that one wing for a couple reasons. So they wouldn't have to go across the school, and then also they wouldn't be disturbing the other students by transitioning in the middle of the class. So we try to be strategic in how we plan that, but if we wanted to look at giving extra time in those other transitions, then I think we're going to have an equity issue. So I feel like they all got to be the same time, in my opinion. So it's a good point, though. It's a good question. We'll take a look at it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments? All right, next item is to adjourn. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'd be glad to make the motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Long, seconded by
I'll second.
Ms. Flatt. Any discussion? All in favor? 5, none opposed, motion carried.